Hey, this is Sky. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Monday night, let's do some Mafia stories. We're going to go scene by scene through all three novels that I wrote. We're starting with the first one, California Gangsters. That's a working title, and I'm open to suggestions if you think I should change it. But let's just pick up where we left off. I got my white fedora hat, and I got a different pistol this time. I got the subcompact XD9. This is the very first generation of the XD subcompacts. It's got a 16-shot magazine, extended magazine with hollow point plus P rounds in it. This is an excellent pistol. Works great at the range. Let's get into it. Our main character, Simon Castro, is out with his uncle. And it's his first night driving around doing collections, and he is planning on joining the LA crime family. So let's just pick up where we left off. We turned onto Washington Boulevard in downtown Culver City. We went a few blocks, and then Frank pointed out the place that we were headed to. We had to circle back around, and I pulled out front. He put his cigar into the giant pull-out ashtray in the console, turned the music down, and said, "This fucking guy has been cheating on his customers and not paying off his winners. He's getting a bad rep around the neighborhood here. We have a lot of complaints about him for the good part of a year. So you're going to put a stop to all of this tonight." I looked at Frank wide-eyed and gave him a nod and said, "Okay, Frank, no problem." He replied, "Simon, now listen to me. I want you to go inside and I want you to beat him up. You understand that? But we're not here to kill him. Just scare him a little. Take his money and come back out here." I nodded my head, not saying a word, and hopped out of the car. Frank slid over to the driver's seat and then said to me, "I'm going to circle around the block once so I don't have to be a sitting duck out front here. You better have your ass back out here by the time I get back. Make it quick." I gave Frank a little salute and strolled into the club through its massive front doors. The place looked like it had once been an old bank. And it was a pretty cool building. Had an Art Deco style to it. I looked around the lounge and studied the place, marveling at the old architecture, the marble. The owner was a short 37-year-old Italian man with pretty big muscles and wearing a fancy tracksuit. He had no shirt on under his jacket, which was open down to his navel, and enough body hair to be wearing a sweater. He had 3 or 4 gold chains, all different lengths, around his neck that were buried in the thick forest of chest hair. He came strutting over and barked at me, "Hey, King Kong, we're fucking closed." I snapped out of my daze and remembered my mission. I had no idea how long I'd been standing there looking around the room. I was wondering if I even missed Frank going around the block. I looked at the guy and asked him, "Are you the owner?" He put his cigarette out in a tall potted plant and replied, "Who the fuck wants to know?" I knew this was the guy. I had to act quickly. I grabbed him by his neck, gripping his throat tight, and lifted him off the ground. He started to kick and squirm like a trapped animal. He may have had some bulk to him, but I was much larger. Holding him off the ground as he choked and kicked, I walked him to the back of the room. I smashed his head against a brick wall as hard as I could. The impact was too much for him, and he fell right to sleep. His entire body went limp in my hand. I stood there with my hand clutched around his neck, pressing his head against the wall, with his bright white Nike sneakers dangling in the air. At that moment, I heard Frank behind me yell out, "Hey, you fucking idiot. What the hell are you doing? I've been waiting outside honking the horn." You're not done yet? I turned around and I said, oh shit. Sorry, Frank. I lost track of time, I guess. He's not dead. He's only sleeping, I promise. Frank laughed and replied, well then let him go and take his money. Let's get the fuck out of here. I released him and he dropped to the floor like a bag of sand. I saw an envelope in his back pocket full of money and I grabbed it and handed it to Frank. Frank said, are you sure he's alive, Simon? The guy don't look so good. I gave the guy a kick in his nuts and he let out a long, painful groan. Frank laughed and said, okay, you're off the hook. We got more runs to make. Let's go. Frank was laughing all the way out the door, and as we got into the car, I opened the door for him as he had instructed me to do. I was starting to get the hang of the protocol. He took a look at the envelope and said to me, hold on a second. I got to go back in there. This payment is unacceptable. You wait here. Keep the car running. Frank stomped angrily back into the bar looking for his bookie. He found him quick and grabbed the guy as he was pulling himself off the hard marble floor. Frank said sternly, hey, Paisan, you're not playing right. And I think you need to be replaced. We got plenty of guys that would like this spot. You remember what I told you last time? Right then, a loud shot rang out. Bang! 1 second later, maybe two, a second shot rang out. Bang! Frank came walking rather fastly out of the front door of the bar. I jumped out, opened the car door for him as he hopped in the passenger seat. We pulled off from the curb back out onto Washington Boulevard. Frank cranked the radio up to Roy Orbison Wild Thing, which was on the rock and roll station. Killing somebody put him in a good mood and he was singing along, tapping his feet. Frank had a bottle of whiskey in the back seat of the car, which he popped open and then proceeded to take a long swig from. He set the bottle down between his legs, turned the music down a little bit, still holding his hand on the volume button as if he was going to turn it back up when he was done talking. He said in a calm, authoritarian voice, Simon, nobody fucks with the LA family. We're going to stop there and we'll pick up next time. Thanks for watching.